Should we talk about today's guest?
Yes.
Can I just get excited?
Yeah, please. Okay. You get excited first, and then I'll show my excitement. Go for it.
Okay. I just want to preface this before he's on the call because I'm like keen on not embarrassing myself. But
I didn't know you didn't like embarrassing yourself.
Oh, thanks. Really. Yeah, no, I was a big Backstreet Boy fan. I was a big Backstreet Boy fan, bullied relentlessly by my peers because I was that large of a fan. So this is exciting. This is an exciting thing for me.
Oh my gosh, yes. I mean, I think you told me that your wall was covered.
Yeah, it was
in Backstreet Boys.
It was wallpapered. So my parents, bless their hearts, let me move down to our basement when I was in 6th grade, and I literally wallpapered my room with Backstreet Boy posters.
I love that.
Yeah, it's definitely, as a 34-year-old woman looking back on it, like a little bit of shame.
No, you know what though is okay. Take this the right way. I still see that in you today, a piece of it. And I mean this as a compliment. You're the kind of person that when you invest in something, you fully invest. Like if you, for example, when you decided you wanted to change some of your diet to like see if it could suit your body better. You did tons of research.
Yes.
You knew everything about for example, so many people did keto that had no idea what they were doing and it became very unhealthy. You like researched the heck out of keto so that you could do it right.
I could hold a class on, I could teach a class on keto.
Oh, I took the class. I didn't mean to. I didn't sign up for it.
You were forced to.
I took the class by omission. And, but I think this is actually a really cool thing about you. And it's something I think is actually a gift that was born out of love for Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
Now, did you have a favorite Backstreet? Do I dare ask?
It was AJ.
Oh my gosh!
I'm hoping that he's not listening already.
Let me see. Hold on. He's waiting to call in.
Okay.
No, he hasn't checked in yet.
Thank
okay.
God. Okay. Well, I mean, I will admit it now, here and now, then that I had a poster. Again, I was maybe 11. Okay, I have to keep prefacing. I had a very large Tiger Beat magazine poster of him. You know.
Okay.
I also wallpapered my ceiling, and I definitely put him right above my bed. So every night before bed, I would say good night,
give him a little wink.
Lindsay, I had no friends. I was a nerdy. I also probably to this day could still do every one of their dances.
Oh my gosh,
by heart. Luna is on one today.
Yeah, you guys can't see this, but my dog is like really crying for attention.
We've spent the last 7 minutes that we've been on this show now, like just moving things so Luna can feel comfortable, and she has yet to find a place.
She like circled around on my lap and then decided it wasn't good enough. Now she walked through all the cords and everything to Fish's lap. Okay, we're
it's
cool.
Fine. She's soothing me because she knows that I am just like beat red.
That's right.
In embarrassment.
Luna is a service animal.
Yeah. Yep.
She is a highly classified and trained creature, which is actually part of the.
Now she's going to mom. Go ahead. Go to your mom. Luna, don't step on end show.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Lynn.
Anyway, so
well, I was a big Backstreet Boys fan too. I was not in the same way as you were. I did not have the posters. That just wasn't the way I expressed my fandom as a young teen.
I mean,
actually, I take that back. I had a huge Avril and Evanescence sign, but that was when I was a little bit older. That was like high school. Yeah, but when I made like dances to their songs, and it wasn't enough to learn their dances. Me and my sister, we had no dance training at all, but we would make up our own.
Yeah.
And there's got to be a video somewhere, but I was definitely Team Backstreet. I loved, and to this day, it's amazing. You hear a Backstreet Boys song and you're like transported
instantly.
And you might think to yourself, oh gosh, will I remember?
You remember.
You remember. Yeah. Tell me the meaning of being it's amazing how you're like, I remember every ad lib.
Oh, I can't speak a foreign language, but I can repeat every lyric from every album ever that between Backstreet and NSYNC. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy.
It was a time that I like almost feel bad for this generation.
We were so lucky
that they don't have it. Of course they have their own, like there's pop artists today, but it's not the same. Like every teenage girl,
they don't have TRL.
It was like we waited for those music videos to drop. We we knew all their names. And it was like you were either both teams or you were one or the other.
One or the other, yeah.
Or you were that odd person that wasn't either. And
had like, no interest.
What's wrong with you? Yeah. But it was kind of this community thing of like, we all loved these two bands.
And I will say it's a little special because my boyfriend, Mark, you know, when I first met Mark, the very first thing that he and I ever did together, he invited me. I was on tour with him. He works for 21 Pilots, and I was on tour at the time with them, and you know, newly single and whatnot. And Mark won me over by inviting me to go watch on YouTube a VHS recording of Everybody Backstreet's Back behind the scenes, which AJ narrated. And Mark could quote this video.
Stop it.
As if he had seen it just as many times as I had.
Which he probably had.
Exactly. So he and I sat there in the back lounge of his bus quoting a behind the scenes Backstreet Boy video from 1997. And I was like, you're the one.
You are.
I've met my husband.
Yeah.
That's a little weird that we're both quoting this.
Oh my gosh. That is so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am so excited to talk with him because like what a crazy journey they must have had to go from like, well, anyways, we'll talk about it later, but like I want to hear his experience of basically playing in malls to becoming very quickly
very famous,
like one of the most famous people on the planet, you know. So anyways, I'm so excited to hear more about like their journey and also what a unique experience to then come back, not just as like, oh, you know, these guys were once huge and now we love their old music, but come back in a way with like a new album that top the charts. And like, anyways, it's just such a wild thing. And by the way, they actually are starting off, or I guess like going back to their tour that, you know, got stopped because of COVID. They're going back this week to continue it.
Oh, lucky.
I know. So anyone who gets a chance, I'm just going to tell you, I have been to a Backstreet Boys show in recent years. I believe it was like a few months before COVID hit. I went to see their show and it was so good. Like, I mean, I went to see Bruno Mars last weekend and I enjoyed the Backstreet Boys concert more. I mean, there's no doubt that like Bruno Mars is incredible. But as far as just like fun and enjoyment, I have to say the Backstreet Boys show is one of my favorite shows I've been to. So anyways, I'm very excited to talk to him about all of that. And did you have a favorite Backstreet Boys?
Oh, it was favorite Backstreet Boys
song.
Song. I think Larger Than Life probably. I think anything from like Millennium or their first album, the self-titled album. I think those were probably my two favorites. Like I love Black and Blue and Never Gone. It had like a really special. It was during a very special time of my life, but I definitely think most things off Millennium and a select few off self-titled were just sitting here thinking about it. I'm like, what good music we had growing up. How lucky.
Larger Than Life. Do you remember that one?
Oh my gosh, the video. I still do the dance.
So good.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think they did it for their encore in their show, which was, I was like, they have to. They did Backstreet's Back as well. Encores. It's like they leave on the Backstreet's Back. It was so good.
Such a classic.
Yeah, such a classic. And yeah, I mean, what I wouldn't give to like be taught one of the dances by them. How cool would that be?
Right.
Like, I can learn it by the video.
I mean, I
like,
can teach you.
Yeah, no, I don't want to learn from you. I want to learn from them. I want to stand amongst them and do the dance.
You know, I will say they've been, a select few of them have been very active on TikTok, and they've been very active with members of NSYNC, which is just like,
that's so fun
for me.
Yeah.
Like, seeing these videos like Lance and, you know, Nick and AJ and all of them just like being together, and Joey, it just blows my mind. I love it.
Yeah, no, it's so fun. And it you know, sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I'll be making these TikTok videos, and like, for example, last week I did one where I put on my pirate coat and I ran like Johnny Depp through my own street, like through my neighborhood. And, you know, then this weekend I was in Vegas. I shot one by myself using my suitcase as a tripod, and I'm like dancing in the airport. And I think to myself, I'm a 35-year-old woman. Like, is this embarrassing or is this fun? Sometimes
No, you're living the dream.
thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I tell myself. But then I'm like, is this? But then I see people I respect
Yeah.
and that I love having fun on
Just being
TikTok.
so goofy.
And you remind yourself, like, heck, I don't want to ever be that person, let alone that artist that's too cool or takes themselves too seriously. Because let's be honest, I never got anywhere by being too cool.
Exactly. Exactly.
And like, what's the point? Like, half the fun, like when we made that silly pirate Johnny Depp run one, we were laughing so hard.
Laughing so hard.
And it's like, we are living the dream.
I tell people that all the time. I'm like, sometimes I get stressed, but then I always use the example of when I was sitting in your yard painting the house, the cardboard house.
Yes.
I was like, sometimes I think about, this is what I get to do, and that's really cool.
Which was funny. I forget what I was working on, but I felt bad, like pawning it off on you, being like, sorry, paint this house. I've got to go record. But I really want to do this TikTok. By the way, you did a fantastic job.
Thank you. I was actually very proud of that.
I mean, it's so cute.
Yeah.
And that video we did like 3 videos out of that one experience.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah, that was good times. Good freaking times, which, as we start to prep, we're going to have to think of a bunch of new TikToks for like Christmas music
I know.
and start to pre-plan. It's always funny when you think you found the perfect trend idea and you're like, this is going to be big. And then you do it and you're like, okay, I'm going to try it again. This time it's going to be big. And yet again, you're just like, never mind. Nope.
But you know what's funny? Because like,
sorry, what was funny?
Oh, I think it's really funny because you still get a lot of like good reception. You still get, on the ones that are, not as like multi-million, you still get incredibly good reception. Your fans love them. So in my opinion, they're always big.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's funny how our perception gets warped of like what means it's big and what's not.
Yeah.
I think AJ just logged on.
We're making sure
that this is him because it's not the username that we were told he would be under.
But that is one of his brands.
Yes. So I'm guessing it's him, but I'm like, either it's him or a very clever fan.
He's probably sitting here like yelling at his phone, girls, it's me.
Yeah. Idiots. Like, log me on. Okay, I'm just going to invite him in.
All right.
We're just going to try.
No, wait.
Oh, okay. Well, they're telling us this is not him. So we're going to
perhaps not
hold off a second. Maybe remind them that could.
There we go. Sorry for the
sorry for the confusion. Sometimes this is a new app. We just want to remind everybody.
Yeah.
So it's not exactly always intuitive. And sometimes it's got some little
We're getting
bugs.
there. We're getting there.
By the way, happy Pride Month, everybody.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, it's officially Pride Month. I love how there's these months to kind of remind us and make us aware of certain things. Like last month was Mental Health Awareness Month, which I could talk about that all day. And it's exciting that this is Pride Month because I decided this year that I wanted to be more actively supportive of the Pride community and the LGBTQ plus community. And it's been really fun to see. I've always thought I was supportive, but you realize people can't see what you don't show and people can't hear what you don't say. And so sometimes it's important, even a little post of support. It's been really cool to see like, oh, this means a lot to people, whether they're in that community or not. Like,
absolutely.
We're all a little bit better when we start showing more support and more acceptance.
Yeah.
And I think that's him. Sorry, the same person keeps coming up. Should I just try bringing this person? No. Oh, Fish says no. Fish says no.
I think we wait.
Okay, we're just gonna wait.
I think we wait.
But
no, I mean, I think so. I think it's important too that people who call themselves and consider themselves, allies, even if they don't outwardly say that, I am this or whatever. I think it's important that people talk about that kind of stuff because it is still a topic that needs to be discussed in order to normalize. So, as 100%. Much as we all want to feel accepted and equal, then we need to talk about everything as if it is accepted and equal because it is.
Yeah. And I think that I don't know, I feel like I learned so much from the Black Lives Matter movement, and I've probably said this so many times, but it made me realize it's not just enough to be, like well, what is it? It's not just enough to say I'm not racist.
Yeah.
You need to be anti-racism.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the way you
Okay.
become an
There we
ally.
Let's go ahead.
Oh, that is him. Okay.
You were right.
It was him.
Oh, darn.
Oh, shoot. He's probably like so annoyed that we've been talking about him and he's right there the whole time.
Oh, God.
Anyways, we're bringing on AJ. So everybody put your hands together and get really excited because I'm so excited about our guest for today.
So excited.
AJ, you made it in. I'm so sorry that we didn't invite you in when you first came on. I think you have to unmute yourself.
There we go. Okay. Yeah. No, sorry. I was like, they're probably looking at the username and not my real name. So they're probably like, who the heck is this Mr. Scully Rose person? It's like, no, that's me. That's me.
I was like,
yeah.
If they had told us to wait a few more minutes, I'm like, I'm just going to bring this person in because whether or not it's AJ, they're excited to be here. And I'll take it.
Well,
but oh my gosh,
hi.
Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. How are you today?
I am very well. And I have to say, my daughters and my wife and I are massive fans of yours. We are obsessed with your Christmas album, like obsessed. We play it even when it's not even close to the holidays. It's Christmas in my house all year round for my wife. So like she's obsessed with Christmas. For me, it's Halloween, but there's not a whole lot of Halloween songs except for like Nightmare Before Christmas. There's Halloween stuff, but yeah, you know.
Oh my gosh, I'm blushing so much right now. I'm so flattered. Thank you. That just means the world to me that you love my
pleasure.
You know who I am.
Oh, I know exactly who you are. I follow you everywhere I can. I've been keeping up with you for a while, and what you do is incredible. As well as, you know, both of my daughters are in full competitive dance, so they love to dance. They love music, and the fact that you combine both is just, and it's just you're in a class of your own. Literally, you really are. So.
Well, thank you so much. If myself in junior high, high school, or even, like I said, even now, like, I'm like, that is so huge coming from someone that I just idolize. And, you know, and I say it in present tense because I went to anyways, I'll talk about this later a little bit more when we get there, but I went to your show at your Vegas residency and blown away. I had the best time. So I say it in present tense because I'm a current fan. So
thank you.
But where are you calling in from today?
I'm calling in from my office in my home in Ventura County, California. I've been living out in Cali now for 22 years. And I will never go back to Florida. That is damn sure. I will never go back to Florida for a lot of reasons. So, yeah.
I hear you. And I feel like Florida has become a very polarizing word.
It's
like, I guess, 2 years.
Ever since this most recent election, we'll go there and just, I'm a huge advocate for the LGBTQ plus community. I have been for 30 years. I'm on the board here in California. I married my 2 best gay friends. I'm all about love and acceptance and tolerance and all of it. And, when people ask me where I'm from, if they don't know, they automatically assume East Coast, which is true. My entire family's from New York and New Jersey and Boston. So I say one of those places. I never tell somebody Florida anymore. Unless you Google me, I'm not telling you I'm from Florida. So
there you go. Well, by the way, happy Pride Month then, because
Pride
Eve was
Month.
Just last night. I just hung my Pride flag up in front of my house, and I'm
almost late for our Twitch stream because you were trying to hang your Pride flag up.
I was like, hold on, I have to get my Pride flag up today, and I'm really excited to be a part, like an active participant in Pride Month this year.
Yes.
So, anyways, I respect and appreciate so much you sharing that. But I want to go a little bit back in time, and I want to talk about some of your early stages of performing, because you started performing at a super young age. And I mean, when you started dancing when you were like really young, and I'm just curious, what was it about dance that made you fall in love with it so young?
As far back as I can remember, since I was probably around 3. I was grabbing a hairbrush out of my mom's bathroom, and I was singing and I was dancing and I was performing. I was doing musical theater is how I started. From the age of about 6 to 11, I did about 72 plays at the Royal Palm Dinner Theater in Palm Beach, Florida. And I was obsessed with being on stage. I was obsessed with performing. Dance was my first love. I took everything from contemporary to jazz, tap, ballroom, hip hop, you name it. I tried gymnastics, but to be honest, the way I look at it, and pardon me saying, but in my mind, the good Lord never meant for my ass to ever be up over my head at any point in my life. So yeah, so the gymnastics thing came and went in the blink of an eye. But yeah, I just
I've
love
never heard it
dance.
put like that, but that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, because they're flipping and tucking and round offs and all kinds of stuff, and your butt's always above your head more than it's on where it's supposed to be. But yeah, I just love dance. I just love to perform. Being on stage to me is my safe place. Doesn't matter what's going on in my world, whether it's personal or it's amongst the group or family or whatever it is. That is my safe place, is on stage, where I feel untouchable. I feel like I'm performing by myself, even when I'm with the fellas. It's just where I feel the most comfortable.
And what's interesting is, like, looking back to when I saw you guys perform, that is so apparent. Like, it's really fun watching your whole group, the Backstreet Boys, because you each bring a different kind of persona. There's like, there's someone that has more quiet confidence, and some are more, but you can tell that when I looked at you, I was like, he's where he was meant to be. He's enjoying this so much. Like, that feels like you're home when you're on stage.
It is.
I can tell that by watching you.
It totally is. It's interesting to me because, I've said this to quite a few people and friends in the business and just friends and family. I'm a very awkward kind of nerdy guy off stage. I've always been that way. I'm very insecure. I always have been. I'm getting better with that in as I get older, and the more time I have sober, I get closer to myself and I get closer to my higher power and just really keeping my feet on the ground and stop effing off. But when I'm on stage, there's a confidence that comes, and it's not arrogance. It's just a confidence that comes where I just feel, like you said, at home. But the second I walk off stage, I become this introvert. And I'm a very outspoken, quirky, funny guy, but I get uncomfortable if I'm with my friends and they're like talking me up, like, "Oh my God, did you see the show last night? He sounded great. And oh my God, those riffs and runs." And I just stand there like, thank you, please stop, thank you. And it's, I don't know why I do that, but that's just who I am. I just, I do appreciate the compliments, but I still from time to time don't sometimes believe that I deserve it. So.
Yeah. No, I think it's funny. I feel kind of similar to you. And I joke sometimes that as a child, it's like I was born with center stage syndrome. I was always ready to put on a show and entertain, whether it was the cats that were watching or whether my mom entered the room. It was like, oh my gosh, I have something to share. Like, I'm going to sing a song. I'm going to twirl and hope that you notice my skirt spin, like whatever. But it is very true. And I think that's something that a lot of artists carry, is that it's almost like you can step into this different reality. When you step on stage, you're like this heightened version of yourself. I suddenly become Lindsey the performer. But that doesn't always translate, like you said, to real life. So it is a very interesting thing. It is almost like two different versions of yourself.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that's a lot of what I think took me down a rather dark path, is not being able to separate Alex from AJ. AJ is my stage name. It's my persona. It's a member of the Backstreet Boys. It's this entertainer figure. But Alex is this quirky kid from Boynton Beach, Florida, who just loves to perform and loves to play golf and video games and this, that, and the other. And I, at a certain point, I just tucked Alex way down, way too low, and never gave him a chance to come up for air. And AJ kind of took over, and not always in the best way. But it's true what you say. A lot of artists, the second you put that first right foot on stage, it's like you transform, and you're in this bubble of freedom and exuberance and confidence and all of that. And the second you step off, that little kind of cloak of invincibility drops and reality sets back in. Now it's about balance for me. Now it's about giving Alex the time that he needs to shine. And then AJ's AJ for 2 hours a night. And then as soon as that 2 hours is over, Alex is back. Let's go be stupid and safe, but have fun and live my life and be a good husband, be a good father, be a good bandmate, and just be a good human,
Absolutely. And I think it's really important to remember that, like, whether you're a performer or not, we all have so many different sides to ourselves, and different situations are always going to bring out these different sides of you. And so it's like, in certain situations, I may be very confident, but it doesn't mean I have to be like beating myself up if I find myself in a situation that makes me kind of close up and be shy. And, and so I think compartmentalizing, realizing that there's all these different sides of ourselves. There's Lindsey the performer, but then there's Lindsey the girl, and there's the shy version, there's the confident version. And it allows you to kind of not be so hard on yourself when you expect yourself to always be this one thing and show up to every act of life like what you think you're supposed to be.
Exactly.
I'm really curious. You've talked a lot about, and I was going to get into this later, but we're already here. So I just want to dive right into, you've talked a lot about your journey with sobriety and mental health throughout your career. And so, and I feel like you started talking about this before it was even talked about much in media. And so was it difficult to be public with these struggles?
At the time, at the precipice of when I really, finally realized that I was an alcoholic and I was an addict, which was during the Black and Blue tour back in 2001. Like we say in the rooms of AA, it worked until it didn't. And, I was a functioning alcoholic. I was a functioning drug addict. I still showed up on time. I still did my shows. I still was the first one on the bus in the morning, last one to go to bed if I went to bed. But at some point, like I said, it worked until it didn't. And when I made the decision to go into treatment in 2001, at that point, the fellas had a therapist on the road for me that I never even talked to but once. They were doing random drug testing with me. But as most addicts, we're very manipulative and we're very clever and cunning. And I was paying local crew guys to pee in a cup for me, until it backfired on me. And I know for a fact, all I did the night before was drink. But the results came back with like 6 different types of barbiturates and like opiates. And I'm like, whoa. No, that wasn't me. And then I had to, admit to my band and to my management, like, yeah, that wasn't even my urine, da-da-da-da-da. And when it came down to it, the straw that broke the camel's back, we were in Boston and we were supposed to go on a day off after our show in Boston and throw the first pitch out at a Major League Baseball game, the first game of the season for the Red Sox. And I was up all night, partied all night real hard. And I decided that morning that I just wasn't going to go to the game. And the fellas were like, not okay with it. I talked to my tour manager and I said, look, bro, I'm just not going to go. And he's like, well, I think you should talk to your band about this. I'm like, screw it. It's a day off. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. And Kevin, our oldest member, did not like that very much. broke my hotel room door down. Could not get into my bedroom because it was double bolted, but he sure as hell tried. And we exchanged some words that I will not repeat, but they were pretty harsh. But I will say the last thing he said to me is that you are dead to me. So I lost my cool. I called my security. I said, I'm done. I quit. I don't need this. I want to go home. And we got the therapist to come to my room, and she's like, look, if you go home, your mom is going to be your mom. She's going to think she can help. You're going to think you're fine, and you're not going to be. Or you do what we say as we go door to door. You go straight from here, straight to treatment. So I said, all right. So I flew to Sierra Tucson in Tucson, Arizona, did my 30 days, and I stayed sober for 7 years. Wow. And now, currently today, as of today, actually, today I have 9 months. So I've been on again and off again. It's been a struggle. You know, I have not stayed sober consistently, but I'm sober today, and that's as far as I need to think, you know?
That's amazing. And I think that's the best way to think of things is like, where are we at today and where are we going tomorrow, you know? And that's such a powerful story. And I'm curious, are there misconceptions about addicts or alcoholism that exist today, despite all the conversations that have been had about, you know, mental health and addiction?
I mean, yes, I think there is misconceptions. I think people, you know, there's always been the conversation of, is alcoholism genetic? Is alcoholism learned? You could almost have the same conversation of ignorant people that don't believe that the gay community are born that way. People that are like, oh, you're choosing this path. No, you're not. You're born this way. This is who you are from birth. You may not know it yet, but at some point, for some of us, it's at 5 years old. For some of us, it's 25 years old. You realize, okay, I love men, or I love women, or whatever the case is. And I believe for me, alcoholism didn't really run in my family. My uncle was an alcoholic, you know, but my mom, my dad, my immediate family, nobody was. When I put alcohol to my lips the first time, which was I was 23, I hated it. I thought it was the most disgusting thing in the world. But I kept trying. And all of a sudden, it got me by the balls. And it would not let go. Full on vice grip, had me. And I was like, this is the best thing in the world when I don't want to feel. And like I told you earlier, I'm a very insecure person. So whenever fears or challenges or anything would come up in my life that I didn't want to face head on, I would go bury myself in a bottle or a bag of cocaine. That's what I did. And then once it got me, it freaking took me. And again, there is a common misconception. People think that that you're born that way, or that it's genetic, or it's learned. It's different for every alcoholic. It's different for every addict. It could be a horrible household, or in my case, I had a great upbringing. I mean, but my parents divorced when I was young. I never really realized until now that I had abandonment issues and all these things that I can go back to now and go, okay, now it makes sense. Now it makes sense why this was the path that I was given. And I don't regret it. I wouldn't be the person I am today without going through the crap that I went through and the crap that I put my family and loved ones through. I wouldn't be the person I am today. So.
Yeah. Do you have any go-to practices or routines that help you maintain your mental health?
You know, it's for me, I think the hardest thing is, obviously I put God first. You know, when it comes to the program of AA, it is a spiritual based program. So your higher power is number one. Number two needs to be you. And I'm a very codependent person. So I'm always people pleasing. I want to make sure my wife's good, my kids are good, my band is good, everyone's good. And you lose sight of taking care of yourself. It's that old saying, if you can't love yourself, how could you love anyone else? And it couldn't be more true in my world, in my head, the way I think. And I'm just now at 44 able to look at myself in the mirror and say, you know what? I love myself today. Or, you know what? I'm not feeling so good today. Maybe I should call my sponsor. Maybe I should talk to my wife. Maybe I should call the band or, whoever. But
Yeah.
for me, meditation, prayer and meditation is key for me. And probably the craziest one that's really hard. And this is, I'll challenge anyone that listens to your show. I'll challenge anybody around the planet every day to say 3 nice things about yourself. It is 10 times easier to say 3 bad things about yourself than it is to say 3 nice things about yourself every day. And they can't be the same thing every day. Different every day. It's harder than it sounds. But I try to do that every single morning. I wake up, as opposed to writing out a gratitude list, I say 3 nice things about myself after I brush my teeth, before I have my coffee. And then I write them down so that I don't repeat them the next day.
I love that. I've never done that. I definitely do gratitude journaling.
I would run out of things to say.
Yeah, you do run out of things to say really quickly. And it does become a challenge to like find something new. But I love that you say like, what about being almost, it's a different form of being grateful when you're just saying, well, I like this about me, not just my life, but me.
Yeah. And and it could be something as simple as, hey, I like that shirt on me today. Where maybe a month ago, I didn't like this way that the shirt looked on me. Or, hey, I like the way my beard looks today. I trimmed it up nice. It's just little daily affirmations that remind yourself you are perfectly imperfect and you are good enough. And that's all that matters. And to know that I am no better and no worse than anybody around me is still a challenge, because as addicts, our ego runs the ship. And I'm not an egocentric person at all. But when I'm active in my disease, even if I'm not drinking or using, but I'm still thinking like an alcoholic, I could be a real dick. I mean, seriously, I could be a real pain in the ass. But, I try not to be.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I also like, hey, you basically talked about awareness of like, I think there's so much power in just kind of tuning in every day and being like, where am I at today? Where instead of just kind of letting your emotions run your life without even realizing they're running it, like that, stopping and saying, oh, I should probably call my therapist today. Or I should check in with someone, like, or no, today I'm great. Like, I think that is such a powerful tool for mental health for anyone.
Not exaggerating, 20 times a day.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I probably check in with myself a lot throughout the day. I should count one day how many times I do.
Same. I should keep a tally one of these days. That's very insightful.
Very insightful. So okay, I want to back up a little bit to like the beginning days of Backstreet Boys, if you'll indulge me for a second. I realized, I didn't know this, but you responded to a newspaper ad to audition for the Backstreet Boys when you were 14. First of all, is that true? And can you tell me, like, what was that audition like?
Yes, it is true. Back in Orlando at the time, there was a thing that I got in the mail called the Blue Sheet, which was basically a form of the classifieds for the entertainment world. Whether it was auditions, cattle calls for Nickelodeon or Disney or Universal, for all the theme parks back in Orlando. And the last page, at the top of the page, there was an ad that said, local business mogul entrepreneur Louis J. Perlman looking to put together a 5-part harmony doo-wop group a la Boys to Men meets New Kids on the Block. And I had literally the day before gotten fired from a Nickelodeon show that had just got picked up on ABC, which shortly after got canceled, so I don't feel bad about it now. So I was out of work. I was like, okay. So.
Uh-oh. Looks like we may have had a disconnection.
Yeah, it looks like. Sorry, AJ, we can't hear you. Oh, you're back. Well, you were for a second. Talk.
This was in 1992. So I am the OG. of the Backstreet Boys. It's already been 30 years for me this year. Next year is our official 30th anniversary.
Oh, wow.
But
Wow.
for me, it's been 30 years in this band. I even helped choreograph the other guys' auditions, some of them.
Oh, no.
If they didn't come prepared with a dance routine, I put together 2 counts of 8. I did it for Nick. Howie had his own thing, and oh man, let me just tell you, I wish there was video of that shit. Oh my God, it was pretty hard to watch.
Oh, he must have had a good enough voice though to make up for it, I guess.
Yes, he absolutely does. But yeah, I mean, you know, and what most people don't know is that there was a different incantation of Backstreet Boys. Myself, Howie, and Nick are the original 3, but there were 2 other members at the beginning that just did not work out. So when we got rid of one of them, we got Kevin, who was working at Disney at the time. And then we lost the other member. We went to go back to some of the auditions that we had seen prior, and nobody really, you know, was like standing out. So Kevin kept saying, I've got this cousin who lives in Lexington, Kentucky. He can sing. I'm pretty sure he can move. What do you think? So cut to this country bumpkin shows up at our rehearsal house with, I'll never forget it, he had a pompadour fade. He had a cut-off flannel T-shirt, cut-off jean shorts, and Reebok pumps. And I was like, can I help you? And he's like, hey, man, my name's Brian Littrell. I'm Kevin's cousin. I'm like, oh, good God. Okay. And 2 weeks later, we did Grad Night 93 at SeaWorld. And that was our first performance as the Backstreet Boys. And here we are 29 years later.
That is crazy.
29 years later is making me have like a moment of like accepting my mortality and just you know,
we grew up with
I was gonna say I've known the Backstreet Boys for most of my you know, my life.
So that's a wild thought that
me too.
Your existence has taken all of us through our lives, like the existence of the band, which is crazy. I'm also, so I feel like from that moment when you guys performed at SeaWorld, and then I think you were doing a lot of like mall performances, and you
malls,
went from
middle schools,
and you went from that to very quickly being like the biggest band in the world. Was there like one moment where you realized, oh my gosh, this is huge? Like, was there that perspective shift moment, or was it gradual?
Well, I mean, people that don't really know our true story think that it was like an overnight thing. But from 93 to about the end of 96, we still weren't signed. We met with multiple labels. And it wasn't until really 1997 that we got signed to Jive Records, and was immediately shipped overseas for the first time for, I think, all of us ever to leave the country. We were shipped over to Stockholm, Sweden, where we met Dennis Pop and Max Martin and the Sharon team. And in that moment, we were making an actual album. Like, this wasn't stuff in Lou's basement. Like, this was...
Oh, you're muted.
This was a real thing. You know? Yep, I'm back. Sorry. This was a real thing. And like, I'll never forget, after we finished cutting the first day, Brian and I were sitting together on a balcony, like, dude, can you believe that we're making an album? Like, what the hell? And you know, so we put the album out, which we now call it's our first album that never got released anywhere except for Europe. We call it the Red Album. And which we're trying to have it finally released everywhere, but that's a different story. But the Red Album was released in Europe. We got it going on globally. It peaked in the US at like 68 on the dance charts, but it went straight to #1 in Germany, Austria, Switzerland. So we dipped out of the States, spent almost 2 years, I feel like, going back and forth to Europe. We were killing it over there. But we were like, it was like we used to call the U.S. no fan land. And then all of a sudden, because when we put our first single out, it back in the States was Nirvana and like Dr. Dre and Snoop. That's what was radio. That's all anybody cared about. And then all of a sudden, these two groups blew up in the States, Spice Girls and Hanson. And when that happened, all of a sudden, our music from Europe started to come over through France into Canada. And from Canada, it dripped down into New York. And Z100 in New York was the first station to play our song in full rotation at that point. And next thing you know, we come back from Europe and the airport in Orlando is thousands of people. And it's like, what the hell happened? Like, what happened? And then it was, we can't go anywhere. Can't go anywhere. Can't do anything. And then cut to 1999, our biggest album ever. 40 million albums sold from the Millennium album. Doing the biggest I mean, thank you. You know, we still have the record for the biggest indoor concert at the Georgia Dome, 69,000 people. That's when I think was the real big culture shock, was the Millennium album. Because back in the day, what the industry called your sophomore album, your second album was key. If that album flopped, your career was done. Our second album was the Millennium album. So we hit a home run, like out the park, down the street, different state. Like it was just insane. So, you know,
Yeah, that's so wild to like, I mean, I feel like every performer has that kind of similar to some degree story of like, everybody thinks you came out of nowhere, but you're like, no, it's only because you weren't aware all those years when we were playing malls and junior high schools, like, you know, but it's always really fun to hear people's moment of like, whoa, when suddenly everything was different and when it shifted. And I feel like you guys had like, I don't know, in some way you got that moment twice because, you know, when you guys released DNA, it was your first Backstreet Boys album in 14 years. And well, first of all, when you guys were making that album, were there concerns or fears about how the album would be received after such a long break? Or like, what was the thought going into it?
Well, I don't want to correct you, but I will say that. So we've never stopped putting out albums. We took a 2.5-year break in between Black and Blue and Never Gone. After Never Gone, Kevin left for about 7 years. We still, as four, put out 4 more albums every 2 years and continued to tour. Then we toured with New Kids on the Block in 2011. And in 2013, Kevin came back and we did the In a World Like This album. And then after the In a World Like This album, which was 2013 to 15, tour and all that stuff, then we went back in the studio, took about 2 years to make DNA. And when we put out DNA, that was our 10th studio album. And every single one of our albums has entered top 3 consecutively in a row. There's only 3 artists in history. And I thought Michael Jackson would have been in this category, and it blows my mind that he's not. 3 artists to have consecutive albums in the top 3. Us, Led Zeppelin, and Sade.
Wow.
Which is crazy. And then Don't Go Breaking My Heart, our first single off of DNA, was Grammy nominated. It was our 9th Grammy nomination. We've never won, dagnabbit. Hopefully we will someday. But yeah, we have not stopped. We have not stopped.
Thank you for correcting me. I apologize for my
No, please.
But no, thank you for correcting me on that, because that is, I don't know, I think that people don't realize the it's a marathon to be an artist, and to consistently put out work the way you guys have done and do it for that long, like that takes pure like passion, dedication, hard work. It takes all of it. And so props to you guys on that. And you know, I think it's it's just really cool that you guys aren't, you know, a legacy act in the terms of like, oh, they, you know, I loved them years ago. Like you guys, like you said, you consistently put out albums that chart and hit the top of the billboards and, you know, get nominated for Grammys. Like, I think that's really cool that you guys are both like, yeah, you have the status of a legacy act, but you
Kind of
maintain that
it's
you're
kind of, yeah, it's still, I have to pinch myself. I honestly
Yeah.
do, because, you know, now crazy thing is we're finally this year about to release our first ever Christmas album. We've never had
shoot.
a Christmas album.
I have a
Never.
Christmas album coming out this year too. Are you kidding me?
Oh no.
I have to compete with you guys?
I mean, we should have had you as a feature. I'll tell you right now.
Gosh darn it. Well, I'll be seeing you in the Christmas
hey,
marketplace.
Let's do a one-off.
Well. Here's the thing: we've been talking about, God willing, we maybe get the opportunity to do a Christmas special. I'll tell you right now, we're calling you. So, that is definitely happening. So
I am going to hold you to that when that happens. I'm going to say when that happens for you. We're manifesting right now.
Yeah.
You're going to get that
Manifested.
Christmas special. And then I get to be a part of it, which I would be, it's an automatic yes for me. How funny though, that every year, you know, I put out a Christmas album, like what, 5 years ago?
Yeah.
And it's funny. You always look at like, who else is in the market? Who else is doing it?
Oh yeah.
But you know, luckily for both of us, I don't think Pentatonics is doing I don't think they're doing a 10th Christmas album, so I think we're lucky.
I know. Those are my homies, and like if it's not them, it's you, and if it's not you, now it's going to be Daddy in my house, because it's always you, Pentatonics, and like just old like vintage classics, but that's all we listen to as far as Christmas in this house.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm
now
flattered,
Daddy can finally join the fold.
Yes, well, it's a good club. I'm proud to be a part of the playlist that you're talking about. And I will say I am actually very excited to hear your guys' Christmas album. That's crazy and so cool.
We'll have to invite you out to our Christmas tour. We're very proud of it.
We are. Are you guys doing a Christmas tour?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, if we do a Christmas special, I think that would be kind of it. We were supposed to do Vegas last year for the Christmas break, but we pushed the album back, so we ended up not doing a Christmas residency. So who knows? You know, if there's any Christmas radio shows and all that kind of stuff, maybe. Where is I meant to ask you this earlier. Where is home for you?
I now live in LA. I'm from Arizona, but I've been in LA for like 10 years now, so this is
Nice.
my home.
My wife's also from Arizona. She considers herself to be from California, but I'm like, babe, wherever you're born is where you're from. You were born in Phoenix, and you didn't leave till you were 8. So you're from Phoenix.
So that means you're from Florida. Oh, sorry, I'm not gonna go there.
Unfortunately, yes.
Sorry, just kidding. But no, that's super exciting. Well, we would love to have you out. If you're not on tour, I'm going to insist that you and your family will get you all tickets to our Christmas show, because we love the Christmas show. My favorite.
Done deal.
Awesome. So you mentioned the Vegas residency. I want to talk to you a little bit about that. What was it like preparing for that residency? Because I feel like that was a big moment for you guys when you got that residency. And if I'm not mistaken, it was about the time that the DNA album came out. So yeah, what was it like preparing for a residency like that?
I mean, it was about, I want to say 2.5 months of prep time. And the initial deal was for 9 shows. And then 9 shows turned into, I believe it was 82 shows. It turned into a 2-year residency. We kept adding dates, kept extending. And to this day, as far as I know, unless somebody has beaten it, we are the fastest selling Vegas residency in Vegas history.
Wow.
And which is nuts. You know, Nick ended up moving to Vegas which is crazy, because he moved before we re-signed after the first 9 shows. I'm like, dude, you really think we're going to keep going? for you to move to Vegas.
Yeah.
And he was right. He was right, luckily. But it was a great experience. Vegas is, I think, very underrated when it comes to the performing world because it is an international hub. People from all over the world go to Vegas obviously for the gambling and the scenery, but also for the shows. And there's countless amazing shows throughout the entire strip. And when we became part of the Caesars family and we were at Zappos over at Planet Hollywood, got to really see a different side of Vegas. Unfortunately for me, Vegas wasn't the best for me. You know, I was on again, off again in my disease throughout the Vegas run. And it was very hard on me. It was hard on my band. It was hard on my family. But I made it out the other side unharmed. Everybody came along with me for the ride because it was a ride. But Vegas is, you know, we are talking about going back to Vegas. I don't know when. It could potentially be 2024. I don't know because the DNA tour, because of COVID now, will take us well into probably June of next year. So, you know, and then take a little bit of a well-needed break, and then hopefully go back to Las Vegas for an even longer residency. And again, it really is a great place. And what I love the most about it is the convenience, because I can take a 45-minute flight to Burbank and I'm home in 30 minutes, which is what I did the last few months of our Vegas residency. I was flying back and forth. And but if we do a long-term residency, I will buy property there for tax purposes. I'm not going to lie. You know, there's no state tax, man. And California is brutal for all of us, but for entertainers, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, one of my dreams, top of my visualization, like manifestation board, is a Vegas residency for exactly what you're saying. I love going to Vegas just for shows. Like, I'm a huge fan of Vegas shows and the fact that you get to do a production that doesn't have to move every day, and just the kind of ideas that inspires, that you're like, oh my gosh, we don't have to make something that can be set up like a carnival in a few hours.
And honestly, Vegas, obviously, nothing is big enough. So you can literally pull out everything plus the kitchen sink in Vegas, and it probably still won't be enough. You know, I mean, we have already started talking about this next residency and upping the ante 100 times over. You know, now with augmented reality and all these things that you can do with technology, like we just want it to be a very immersive experience and not just a typical show. And after the larger than life residency, we got to go up from there. You can't go backwards, and you can't stay in stagnant. So you've got to keep going up and up and up. And that's what we're already talking about it right now. And we haven't even touched our first DNA date back on the DNA tour yet until Saturday. So, you know.
Yeah. Do you find it hard as an artist? Because I know this is something that I struggle with, is what you were just saying, is you always want to up the ante. You always want to show up with something like that kind of outdoes yourself on your last tour, your last video, your last performance. And do you find that difficult, or do you find that to be a lot of pressure sometimes, or is it like really exciting for you?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, I think the only pressure I feel is when it comes to scheduling, because now that the five of us really have our like business under control, where before our business was kind of doing its own thing and we were just so focused on performing that we didn't really know what was going on behind the scenes. Now we're very much involved, and we are businessmen as well as performers. I think now, because we're all husbands and fathers, we really map out tours differently. We map out shows differently now and try to have a healthy balance where, like, for example, this summer tour will be the longest stint we've done in years. It's 3 months with 6 days off in the middle. It's 52 shows.
Wow.
And, you know, so it's going to be a long haul, but our families come out. We each have our own bus, so we can have our families
Amazing.
out. We got barbecues going on backstage. All of our kids get
Oh.
along. You know,
I love that. We're a big proponent of the backstage barbecues.
We carry a
Oh,
smoker
heck yeah.
on one of the buses.
It's the best. It's such a bonding time for
Yeah.
everyone, and you kind of on tour need those little things that keep community and keep sanity. And I don't know. I love that you guys do that.
Got to.
You've got to. And also, I heard. Please tell me if this is true. That you guys are performing upwards of 30 shows a night. Is that true?
30, we would be dead. Like, there,
90 minutes.
no,
Or 90.
no, definitely not 30 shows a night. There's no way.
No,
but at
shows, songs. Someone told me.
Oh,
that you guys
yes.
are
No, there's 32 songs in the DNA show.
Okay, that is
now,
absolutely insane.
Now, mind you, there is medleys. I'm sure you know all about that. There is medleys.
Yes.
But I would say, as far as complete songs, I'd say probably 24 to 25 are complete songs. The others are webbed into medleys. So, but we are also dancing about 85% of the show.
Yeah.
You know, it's a great visual show. Yeah, it's phenomenal. I would love, if you're in town and you would love to come to the Hollywood Bowl show on June 7th, I would love to have you come and see the show.
You don't have to ask me twice. I actually already texted my managers a screenshot of the date and said, oh my gosh, can I please, I would love to go to this. So I will take you up on that offer. And I will just also say, I'm going to just piggyback off what you just said. As someone who recently went to a show, I guess it was right before COVID, your guys' energy and I consider myself a very physical performer. I dance. I know how much energy and stamina that it takes. And the fact that you guys are doing it for 20 to 30 songs is just insane to me. But yeah, your guys' show is so energetic. It is so visual. And I cannot say enough. I took my 2 sisters and my mom, and we just had the best time. We smiled the entire evening. If we weren't singing, we were laughing and smiling. It was just so much fun. So anybody who's looking at tour dates right now, which you all should be, you have to go buy the ticket because you will not regret it. It is such a fun show. And anyways, just wanted to piggyback my testimonial along with yours. But if you were going to tell anybody about what are you most excited about that fans are going to experience in the show?
I mean, we're going to take you down memory lane. It's literally just shy of 2 hours of all the hits, literally all the hits, as well as a lot of our personal favorites. We finally have our very first ever real true a cappella that was actually arranged by the same people that do all of the pentatonics arrangement. So yeah, it's going to be awesome. It really is an insane show, and I cannot wait for people to come see it. Whether you've seen it before or you've never seen it, you're going to have a hell of a time.
Oh, amazing. And it really was a trip down memory lane, in the best way possible. I loved it. And okay, I know you have to go, and I want to be respectful of your time in just a few minutes, but one last thing I want to talk about is we both share a common history in that we both competed on Dancing with the Stars. And so let's talk about it. How was that experience for you?
It was an experience.
Yes.
It was a lot of work, but I will say I had an amazing partner, Cheryl Burke. She was phenomenal. She's my homie now, ride or die. But I will say it was, now after doing it, it wasn't even about the dancing. Which was a challenge for me, even though I'm a classically trained dancer. I've never done ballroom in my life. And it's really helped me as a dancer coming back into the group. But I will say it was more about self-discovery for me. It was more about challenging myself and really like looking inward to like fight through my demons and my fears and all of this. It really was an eye-opening experience, to be honest. It really was.
Yeah. And, I think that I love the way you just described it, because it's so true. No one can quite understand, I think, why that show gravitates to so many people, and why, because, it's just a bunch of people that aren't great at dancing trying to learn to dance. What's the draw? But I think people don't even realize that they're watching someone go through a very transformative experience. And
oh yeah,
similarly for me, it almost took me back to like, I had to face like almost this Lindsey, and like that started her career. I had to go back to that same Lindsey that believed in herself when she was doing something new, and I was scared. And like I revisited that phase of my life and had to like kind of find that inner grit that maybe I'd gotten a little casual with, and be like,
totally
this is uncomfortable. This is weird and terrifying, and I can't do a foxtrot. What the heck? And then suddenly,
oh, the foxtrot killed me.
Me too.
No, totally.
I was terrible at the foxtrot.
Yeah, that thing. Oh God. Yeah, I still have nightmares.
Did you ever do a samba?
I did. That was actually my best judged performance. But
really?
I am also Latino, so if I can't move my hips, then I shouldn't be doing what I do for a living.
See, the samba was like almost the nail in the coffin for me. I am such a nerdy white girl that like going out there and trying to, it was a travesty to say the least. But yeah, such a crazy experience. And I love Cheryl. She's
amazing,
wonderful human. Yeah,
she is.
Well, before we let you go, is there anything else you want to tell us about things you're excited about, or you're working on, or any last things you want to share?
Sure. I just finished recording what I'm considering to be my true debut solo album. The single will be out next month. The video is shot.
Oh my gosh.
I directed the video with my amazing partner that I've directed now 7 videos with. We actually also co-directed Backstreet Boys' Chances video from the DNA album, which was our last video. And it is, I'm so proud of this album. It is it's going to be insane. As well as, in case you didn't know, I have a nail polish line inspired by my daughters called Ava Dean. I'll definitely send you a box set of all of our colors.
Oh my gosh. Amazing.
Yep. And yeah, I'm stoked to get back on the road. I hope I get to see you at the LA show, and I hope we can do some Christmas shows together. And you are an absolute doll, and I am honored that you had me on your show. So thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, this was such a pleasure. It's been so fun chatting with you. It's been inspirational, and I will be at the LA show. You better believe it. I
beautiful,
am there, and I will
beautiful.
Be
all
the
right.
loudest singer in the audience. So thank you for your time, and I'm also really excited for your solo music to come out.
Yes,
so please let me know how I can support you, like whether it's using the sound on TikTok or whatnot when it comes out. I want to support, all of it.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Well, take care.
All right, darling. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
That was so cool. That was so cool. Oh, I mean, what an amazing, I kept thinking the whole time he was talking, like, what an incredible energy he has sharing his story. Like, it takes a lot of, I don't like using the word bravery, but maybe that is the right word.
Yeah, courage.
It takes a lot of courage to just not only share it, but share it with like a conviction of just like, this is life, this is okay, this is how things happen. And if it's happening in your life too, that's okay.
I loved, like, I think you said it so well when you said he had this energy about it too. Like the whole time you could tell he just is an entertainer through because even the way he talks was so engaging for like an hour. But also I love that in his story about his sobriety journey, he didn't hide the fact that like, I've fallen down a couple times. I've been in and out. This part of my life was hard for me. We were in Vegas and I struggled, but I'm 9 months sober now and I'm proud of that. Like, so many people, we get so hard on ourselves when we fall down. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
recovery is a freaking journey.
Yeah.
And, you know, the only way I can relate to it is through my experience with anorexia, but that as well is a disease of addiction.
Yeah.
It's just a different kind of addiction
Mhm.
that most people aren't aware of, that it's an addiction. But
Yeah.
it's like, for sure, I've been in and out of different phases of being super healthy and then slumping back into a really unhealthy mindset and
Yeah.
then coming back. And that's part of the process.
Yeah.
And there's nothing to be ashamed of it. And I just love that he so, you know, confidently said, like, this is where I'm at today, and that's what I'm proud of.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what happened, you know,
What
X
a
amount of months ago.
very wickedly important thing to normalize and to just have that sort of, you know, that feeling and that vibe behind it. I am such a
Yeah.
fan of that. Such a fan of that.
So cool.
Absolutely.
Also, I love that he said what he kind of considers his first debut like album for himself,
Yeah.
because he has released music.
Yeah.
I like wanted to talk more about it, but I was like, oh, I need to let him go.
Yeah.
But
Can we keep you for another hour
yeah,
and keep talking?
hang out with us more. Let's go get dinner. But yeah, the fact that that must mean that this is the truest music he's ever written. By the way, you guys can't see this, but Fish also has up the nail polish line that he was talking about.
Oh my god. I want
There's
these.
some great shades in here.
I'm obsessed with I want the black. I want this so
Yeah.
bad. Oh my
Also,
god.
wait, go down. I like
periwinkle.
I was just gonna say,
Ooh, the lavender.
these bright colors too are like
Oh,
so fun.
yes.
Whenever I go on a vacation, it feels like you want to have bright nails.
Okay, but look at these ones.
You cannot go wrong with a
I'm
pastel pink.
Such a fan of all of these.
Sorry, we're acting like you guys can see these. We should be more
Okay,
descriptive.
let me go ahead and drop this in the Discord for those.
There we
of you
go.
who are
Put
with
in the
us
Discord so everybody can see it, because there's a lot of really fun colors. And how fun that he did that with his daughter.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
I feel like we need to send them violins.
I know, like, what can I do? Like, we're gonna go to the show. He said he's gonna give me nail polish.
How
I'm
can
like,
we be AJ's best friend?
yeah, I could send him a violin. Oh wait, shoot, he has no use for that. I could.
Oh my god.
Here's a merch T-shirt. Dang it. I need to have cooler.
I know, we need to.
Products. Here's my book, The Only Pirate of the Book. Dang it, no, stupid.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways.
So
Oh, well, I want to play a song. I forgot. I always forget when I have
No.
my guests on. I almost like
It's
don't
okay.
want to waste their time.
yeah, that time was precious.
It was. That was a really special experience. I'm still like on a high from it. So we're gonna play from the DNA album, Don't Go Breaking My Heart. Such a good song. When they did this live, it was actually the first time I'd ever heard it when they did it live. And
Wow.
sometimes when you don't hear a song before live, it's hard
Yeah.
to like connect with it.
Yeah.
But it was so good live. Just
Really?
imagine this in a loud room
Okay.
and with a bunch of screaming women. Yeah.
Love it.
Okay. I painted the picture.
I don't have to imagine because I've been one of those screaming women. in the
As
crowd.
have I.
Yeah.
So you're welcome,
Yeah.
everyone. Here you go. Okay, that song's so good, right?
It's so fun.
Such a good song.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Also, can we just like pause for a moment to reflect on the fact that AJ knows my music and he plays it in his home with his family?
I'd be lying. For everyone listening, I'd be lying if I said we didn't have like a silent little like, oh my gosh.
We were like wiggling our
Yeah.
hands and like get,
I'm
like
not ashamed
smiling.
about it either.
No, I'm
You
not
know
ashamed about it
what?
at all. I should have more audibly done it
Yeah.
because we were both. I didn't want to interrupt him. I'm like, no, continue, please. Keep
I used to
praising
think
me.
that kind of stuff was embarrassing, but now I realize it's a huge compliment. You
Of
know?
course, if
It is
someone
a
knows that
compliment.
you're like, thank you, your
Yeah.
opinion means a lot to me.
Yeah.
And like, anyways, I wish there was a video of us just both being like,
Both of us very silently were like, just our hands were in the air and we were, yeah.
we're cool.
We're not teeny boppers at all.
No.
Not even a little.
Should we take a call from one of our listeners?
Wait, maybe not.
No?
I don't.
Yeah. We'll take a quick call. That's rude. Fish. I don't know. That's rude.
Well, you know.
I'm going for it. We're just gonna say a quick hello to one of our listeners. Bring him in. Okay, I'm gonna let you pick.
Oh God, don't put that on me.
You
Okay.
gonna pick
I'm gonna do a random little. Let's just roll right down.
more callers coming in.
Yeah,
Wow, more callers coming in.
we're gonna do this one.
Okay. All right, we invited Just Live Art.
I
See if
think
she
this
can
might be one of our. I'm assuming.
see.
We
I wonder if
invited
the
a
call's
caller,
not
so-
being picked up. for
Yeah,
some
we
reason.
invited a caller, so let us know if you get it.
Oh, she joined.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
We're great.
I was gonna say, I believe this might be one of our pretty regular Discord users, Liv.
Yeah.
Yes, we thought so. We were looking at all the names, and she pointed at her. She's like, "I'm pretty sure she's
Looking for
one
a
of our
name that I
Discord.
recognize. Yeah.
Where are you calling from, Liv?
I am in Bradenton, Florida.
We're so sorry.
Sorry, there was a lot of
Ragging on Florida today.
yeah, a lot of ragging on Florida today. But I personally, I love all my trips to Florida. I was
You do.
recently there, and
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoy a theme park. So
We
Orlando,
always have a good time when we tour through Florida. Yes.
the beaches there.
Yeah.
I mean,
We
stop
always
it.
take a beach day.
So yes, no shade on Florida from this girl right here. Are you an artist?
Yes, I am a huge artist. I actually just finished a piece that is now hanging on my wall. It took me 12 hours to
Ooh.
finish.
Oh my god.
What kind of medium do you use?
I use all kinds. I use charcoal colored pencils. My latest pieces have been graphite colored pencils, acrylic. I do a lot of digital art. I do 3D modeling. I do literally everything.
Amazing.
So fun. What's your favorite kind of like? Are you more landscape or more portrait or abstract?
I like going for more like portrait abstract kind of things. Like a lot of the things that the things that I do are like that they're kind of portraity, but they're also very abstract with like color and stuff. I see in color, and like basically color is the way that I connect with people. So like color is a
do you like
big
attach
thing.
color to? Do you attach color to like personalities? Like this person's very orange, or like this music, this song is blue. Like, do you do that?
Yes. That is the number one thing that I do. That is my first thought whenever I'm listening to something new, whenever I'm meeting somebody new, I'm like, what's your favorite color? I need to know.
Oh, interesting. Oh, it's so fun. I remember Derek Huff saying that he hears music in color.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool. How, and I've learned that's a thing. Like, certain people really do experience the world and feelings and emotions and senses through color. And that's so fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Color is like
Cool.
the biggest way that I can communicate or kind of feel what other people are feeling. It's the biggest thing that really kind of helps me communicate. I'm not the greatest at communicating in general.
I have a question for you. Yeah, you're communicating fantastically. I have a question for you. Are you a Backstreet Boy fan?
Yes, I have been my entire life. Ever since my parents adopted me to now, I have been a huge Backstreet Boy fan.
That's amazing. So I'm sure you were geeking out just as much as we were.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I was definitely geeking out completely. I ran to my mom and I was like, "Mom, you won't believe who's on Lindsey Stirling's radio show right now."
We said the exact same thing.
Yeah, when they told me he was coming on, I was like, "Mom, you won't believe who's coming on my radio." Actually, I think I did say that. I talked to my mom quite a lot, so I'm sure I did call her with excitement.
I definitely called my mom and I was like, "Guess who we're talking to?"
Moms are the best.
They really are. Yeah.
Moms,
really are.
yeah, moms are special creatures.
Well, thank you for calling in, Liv. It's nice to talk to you voice to voice.
Yes, not just in the Discord chat.
Yeah.
Also, put some of your art, like put a picture of your art in the Discord. There's an art channel.
I think,
on the
Oh,
Discord.
I utilize that all the time.
Oh, well, I'll have to go back and look at some of your artwork. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
But I hope you have a lovely rest of your evening, and thanks for chatting with us and calling in.
Yeah, we'll see you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes, we'll be coming.
Thank
to
you
Florida
so much for this.
on the Christmas tour. So we'll see you then.
We'll see you.
Yes. Yes, I will definitely try to come.
Oh, thanks so much, Liv. Have a good rest of your night.
Bye,
Tell
Liv.
mom hi.
You too. Bye. I'll tell her hi.
Bye.
Oh man. Should we play one more Backstreet Boys song? Maybe a classic.
Sure. Which, okay, this is so hard to choose,
But
but
I'm gonna just say Everybody Backstreet's Back.
you know, that's a great one.
Yeah.
You cannot go
Can't
wrong.
go wrong. It's
with
so
that.
iconic.
Oh.
It's definitely one of my favorite TikTok sounds.
Is that wait? What's the one? The TikTok sound where it's like, "Am I a bitch?"
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
So funny.
I actually want to do a sound to that one or a little video.
Let's do it.
Because I know exactly what I'd do. Mine would be like, do we have a cute boyfriend? And it would be like,
Nope.
wait, can you ask one more time?
Oh,
Such
my
a funny
God.
trend.
All right.
Okay, here we go. You heard it here tonight. Request from Fish, Backstreet's Back. All right, well,
That was amazing.
we went over a little bit, but it was worth it for the extended version of Backstreet's Back.
I was
because
dancing.
It was so good.
Yeah.
And by the way, my dog is on one.
Oh
tonight.
my gosh.
Like, my dog is usually the kind of dog that curls up and falls asleep and you
She
forget
has-
she's there.
not stop moving.
She's just been like nervous energy.
Yeah. The entire
Just
hour.
kind of like, we have a lot of cords for some reason. Like,
What is-
I'm not sure what our setup is. Like,
we have a mess today.
there's quite a mess of like headphone cords and things. She kept getting like walking through them. And meanwhile, I'm just trying to have a meaningful conversation about sobriety.
At one point, she laid down in front of the device we're using
Yeah.
and let out a burp.
She burped right in front of the mic.
And we saw the mic light up as AJ was giving us this really important and wonderful and
moment,
just
heartfelt.
and I just looked at Lindsay and I was just,
What is
oh
happening?
my gosh.
What's wrong with my dog? Next
We
time,
need to put her outside.
yeah, we'll put her in like my bedroom. We'll set her up in the bed with a toy, and some food, like hang out. Anyways,
She's on one.
yeah, I don't. Who are you? You are not my dog. Anyways, thanks for everybody joining us and sticking around.
Thank
This
you.
was so fun, and I look forward to Wednesdays. What can I
Yeah.
say? Wednesday's like my favorite day. It's like I get to come and have my weekly radio chat and talk to really cool people. So, anyways, we're right now. I'd be lying if I said we weren't looking at T-shirts
We are looking at
for
Backstreet Boy
me to
t-shirts.
buy so I can wear it to the concert. Also, I have a fun TikTok idea that we were just
Yeah.
talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. So, anyways,
You'll see it.
talk to y'all later. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.